It is a sweltering 116 degrees. A group of teenagers find themselves stranded in the Mexican Badlands after their van breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Exhausted, dehydrated, and completely isolated from the outside world, their inconvenience quickly morphs into dread. Then they hear it, a faint, disembodied voice echoing through the heat, a woman crying out in pain. Following the desperate pleas for help, the group stumbles upon the imposing stone walls of the Santa Dina Church, a forgotten relic rising out of the dust. Seeking shelter, they step inside, only to be confronted by a hostile, arrogant priest. He immediately demands they leave the premises. He refuses them any help, completely ignoring the fact that one of the teenagers, Maria, has suddenly collapsed with a violent, unnatural fever. The group decides to hunker down, but as the sun sets, the heavy wooden doors of the sanctuary slam shut and lock on their own. Their refuge becomes a pitch-black prison. Inside the dark church, Maria's illness accelerates into terrifying possession-like seizures. She speaks in voices that aren't her own, demanding a baby. Panic sets in, and the group scatters into the shadows to find a way out. Survival becomes an immediate, bloody necessity. Off-screen, the isolated teenagers are hunted down. Roger is killed first. Then Javi is violently dragged into the darkness, his life extinguished in a matter of seconds. The silence following the attacks is heavy. The survivors are forced to confront the reality that their group has been halved in minutes, and the remaining shadows offer no protection from whatever is stalking the hallways. They are locked in with a vengeful spirit, yes, but the real danger is the horrifying secret buried within these walls. A secret that someone living, breathing, and walking the earth right now is willing to kill to protect. Desperate for answers, the survivors pry open a hidden crawl space beneath the floorboards. They drop down into a decrepit, freezing secret room that has sat untouched for decades. Among the dust and old newspapers, they uncover the artifact that triggered the haunting, a single worn leather diary belonging to a nun named Sister Dolores, dating back to 1993. Decades ago, Dolores was known to the public as the Miracle Mother. The highest religious authorities, including the Vatican, were investigating claims that she had experienced a divine virgin pregnancy, noting she possessed miraculous abilities to heal the sick. But the pages of the diary dismantle that grand institutional myth. Dolores was not a divine vessel carrying the second coming. She was a deeply lonely human being who committed what the church deemed an unforgivable sin. She fell in love. Reading her own words, the teenagers discover a woman overflowing with joy. Dolores wrote passionately about her secret love affair and her intense excitement to become a mother, finding a brief slice of happiness in an otherwise austere life. This flowchart illustrates exactly how the public lie was engineered. The rumor of a divine, immaculate conception was intentionally fabricated by her lover. By branding her pregnancy a miracle, he successfully blocked any internal investigations that would have exposed his own career-ending scandal. And then, the diary reveals the devastating identity of that lover. He was the very priest who greeted them at the door, the man sworn to protect her. When Dolores threatened to expose the truth, the priest silenced her. In the final, horrific climax of 1993, he murdered the pregnant nun, crushed her face to hide her identity, and buried her deep in the church basement to protect his holy status. The manifestation of Dolores's grief now tracks the group, seeking the child that was torn from her in her final moments. Back in the present, the surviving teenagers are cornered in the very basement where Dolores's bones lie hidden. Standing between them and the exit is the present-day priest. He drops the facade. The priest casually confesses that there was no ghost attacking their friends earlier that night. He personally murdered Roger and Javi in the dark, desperate to prevent anyone from reading the diary and escaping with his secret. His justification is chilling. He truly believes that his position, his reputation, and his ability to give hope to the masses are vastly more important than the lives of a few stranded teenagers. He raises his weapon, ready to execute the remaining survivors. The immediate threat to the group is a man weaponizing his holy status to bury the evidence of his crimes. But before the priest can strike, the atmosphere drops to freezing. the spirit of Sister Dolores explodes from the shadows of the basement, a terrifying manifestation of pure maternal rage. She ignores the terrified teenagers completely. They are merely witnesses. The ghost lunges straight for the priest, exacting a brutal, long overdue vengeance on the man who betrayed her and murdered her child. With the priest dead, the oppressive energy in the room evaporates. The souls of Dolores and her unborn baby are finally reunited in the dark, their decades-long torment brought to an end. The supernatural lockdown lifts. The heavy wooden doors of the sanctuary unlatch, allowing the traumatized survivors to stumble out of the darkness and into the bright morning light of the Mexican desert. The survivors carry away the truth of Santadena, that a high-ranking cleric committed murder to hide a human love, and that a mother spirit finally found the peace that was denied to her in life.